let me bring up our first team. I'm going to bring up Michael Amaral, who's going to explain the form, but give it up for Tales from the Crypt.
For the improv aficionados in the crowd, Tales from the Crypt is a modification of the movie form, which was created by the family out in Chicago under the tutelage of Del Close. That's a lot of improv blah blah words, but if you study it all, you go, I understand Chicago, I understand Del Close. Does he make that lemonade? Totally different, totally different. So in the movie form, what happens is, since we don't have a projector, that slide thing didn't count. We don't have a screen. This will become your TV screen, much like HBO did in Tales from the Crypt. So your TV screen will be here. We will be giving you all the stage directions. We will be describing any blood and guts and gore, any action sequences, how characters are dressed, how the set is dressed, eerie sound effects you may hear, incidental music, things of that nature that all combine to make Tales from the Crypt the great 80s, early 90s hit that it was. Everyone's familiar with the trope of Tales from the Crypt. Everyone's seen something in the past. Great. You're looking to see an excited improvised one here tonight? Woo! Fantastic. Let's start. Tales.
Whoa. We open up on a creepy graveyard.
We get closer to the rusty gate and it opens.
We see crows.
Spooky statues line the walkway.
Oh, that car doesn't even have a parking pass.
It's great on a tombstone.
Just some scattered iron debris. And there's moss, but it looks haunted.
There's gargoyles with toothy smiles. There's a black cat, and I don't like the way he's looking at me.
That's a really nice family scene. They're doing etchings.
Up the stairs.
Ooh, there's a creaky old door.
We see a living room with a giant spooky bearskin rug. What kind of crazy armchair is this? It's all ripped.
Oh, there's a bust of a hog and his mouth is moving.
Ooh, and there's lots of dusty, open books.
Oh, and there's several bats that seem to be doing it.
Someone left the Triscuits out. There's a candle and it's burning, and it's a fire hazard, and it's making me nervous.
Secret hallway staircase.
Oh, that pine tree from Bugaboo Creek.
VHS. It's upsetting my allergies.
There's a cigarette with a burning cigarette with a long ash. Why doesn't somebody ash it?
The door to the basement creeps open.
Oh, there's old photographs, but they've all been ruined by water damage.
There are chains from the wall with shackles.
It's just skeletons hanging out.
Little candles burned down to the nub.
There's little gold stars on the sarcophagus. I'm pretty sure there's radon down here. A bunch of coffins just piled on top of each other.
And an iron maiden.
Hi, Grandma.
The coffin pops open.
We see the Crypt Keeper jump into frame. He's dressed like a chef.
Good evening, boys and ghouls, and welcome to Shay Tales from the Crypt. I hope you enjoyed tonight's special. We have a lovely pasta dish topped with eyeballs. Now, to get started, all we need is a song lyric.
Don't you love me, baby?
Don't you love me, baby?
We open on an old crib in the middle of a long old room.
Above the crib is a mobile, and it is all black and white because that's proper for infants. And there's little rocket ships and globes and a Saturn.
Strangely, on one of the threads of the mobile, there's a looks like a polished dagger. I don't know how it got there. And over
Standing on this side of the crib is a woman. She's got a Century 21 badge on. She's happy. Look at her, she's so happy. But she's got a vest on, and her shoes are tan.
It says she has a badge right here that says #2 salesman in the county.
In the corner over here, you can see there's a child-sized rocking chair with a little doll, but the doll is like super creepy. Like there's no face, there's just one button for an eye. And there's a bookshelf behind the doll, and you can see that there's just a bunch of spooky-sounding titles on them. They're all nursery rhymes from like the Victorian era, and they're all really inappropriate for
There's
children.
2 windows behind the Asian, and the screens are all ripped. One of the panes is broken. Around the the window pane, the like wood part is like lead paint. You can just tell it's lead. Peeling.
There's a shelf up here displaying a pair of baby shoes. There's a sign that says, "For sale, baby shoes, used, never worn."
There's a doorway right over here near the shelf in front of the creepy doll, and standing in the doorway is a man in his 50s. He's hunched over. He's got kind of a loose, ill-fitting sweater on. It's not quite buttoned the right way, like 2 of the 3 buttons are buttoned and they're in the wrong buttonholes.
We zoom in up close on his face. We see that he has this big, bushy beard. It's tangled. It's a mixture of white hairs and brown hairs. He's kind of grabbing onto one individual hair at a time and just he's just pulling off little things. We don't know what he's pulling off, little things from those hairs.
What are they? We cut back. We close in on a newspaper that the man is holding in his left hand, and it's just a listing of houses that are for sale, and a bunch of them are circled and a bunch of them are crossed out in red ink. We cut back to the Crypt Keeper.
I call this tale Burying the Lead. So, I'm thinking 4.5 million for the whole thing.
Well, you know, in this neighborhood, the market is...
Ow.
Sorry. The camera cuts to the hair he just picked off. And we see it sort of start to move its way to the side of the room.
We come to a close-up of the man, and we see where the hair was pulled out. There's just a really long stream of blood spurting out. It just keeps going. He doesn't seem to notice it. We cut back to this.
One moment. Carry on.
Yes, I'm afraid, Mr. Rogers, that the market in this neighborhood isn't quite up to the expectation of the estimate that you're looking for.
What do you mean? This house has been in my family for centuries. It was always one of the more expensive homes in the neighborhood, if not the... Ow!
The camera cuts to the little hair. It starts to squeak and make its way over to the side of the room as well. It looks scared. Cut back.
Excuse me. You may live.
Do you have a Band-Aid?
What for?
Your face is bleeding, sir. Look, I understand how much this house means to you, and it's just the condition that it's in right now. I'm afraid we're looking more at... We're looking more at the 200,000.
Million!
200,000. If we're lucky. It's just in very bad shape, and you know the house next door went for about, it's a high 100, 199. We just need to be realistic. If you want to sell your property,
What about you?
what?
You seem like a nice person.
I am the #2 real estate agent at Square One.
And you gave me a Band-Aid. No one's ever given me a Band-Aid before.
We cut to the Century 21 offices the next morning.
We see there the manager's desk area, a large cube, and the #2 salesman says #1 regional salesperson on his badge.
And there's a Funko Pop of the Crypt Keeper on his desk.
Joanna, if you ever want to roll with the big dogs like this guy here, you gotta push that sale. Rogers is sitting on a pile of dough. You mean you can't sell that house for as much money as he wants?
You're right. I mean, as the #1 salesman, maybe you could help me. He's asking for over $4 million for, you know, the property that has There's no curb appeal. There are little vermin. I'm not sure what they are.
Joe. This is all negative talk, okay? Now, look, don't let anybody else around here know, okay? Because I still got a reputation to uphold. I don't want anybody unseating the big dog. But we've been doing this for a while, okay,
Yes.
Joe?
Uh-huh.
Let me give you a little tip.
Right.
There's always something about a house that makes it more valuable than anybody could ever imagine just at first glance. I mean, think about it. There must have been something in that house, something that added a little charm or some detail, something that maybe if you just put it in the right light, you could really push that thing.
Oh, of course. I mean, I always see the diamond in the rough, but I just... $4 million. I don't know how I could even get it to 400,000.
Well, that's up to you, kid, all right? Joanna, I think you've got it in you. Go back there, check that place out, root around,
Right.
see if there's something that was sticking out that maybe you missed.
We cut back to the house. It's dark. It's the same room with the crib in the middle and the doll sitting down there. The old man is just kind of staring off vacantly, and then he walks off because I wasn't expecting him to go to the Joanne stumbles in through the door. She gets caught in a bunch of cobwebs. It's disgusting. So many goddamn cobwebs.
The doll's head turns towards her.
Joe, you gotta look for that diamond in the rough. Bro.
Oh.
That's better. It was me.
Cut to a close-up of the doll's face. Now, doll flashes a quick smile at her. Cut back.
Oh, my. What a precious doll.
Thanks. You're not bad yourself.
I mean, I know it's very dusty in here and
Yeah, and
dark.
what's that old dude doing with a crib? He hasn't seen the light of day in 50 years, and he's got a crib in the house, and you moved it aside. I think that was a wise move. You got a good eye, kid.
Very, very interesting. You know, you're a doll. And
Well-
you're talking to me, and I feel like you're trying to tell me something about the man.
Yeah,
It is odd that he has a crib.
yeah, he's a strange dude.
Strange dude.
Yeah.
As they're talking, we see the hairs on the doll's head kind of raise up and look at her.
Oh, you've noticed my hair.
This house.
Yes.
Something is going on with this house. Something mysterious.
Oh, there's no moss on you, kid.
I mean, I am number 2, really.
You should be number 1.
Well, I'm trying to sell this house
Well.
for Mr. Rogers.
Well, he's trying to lowball you. This house is worth at least $4 million.
At least 4 million.
At least $4 million.
Well, I don't understand. Is there...
We cut to a close-up of the doll's face, and we see some of the hairs lean down into the doll's ear and start whispering into his ear. Cut back.
Say,
Yeah.
do you think you could maybe help me? What is this house hiding that would cost that much money? And how on earth am I going to have anyone buy this house for over $4 million?
Are you kidding me? It comes with me. I'm a freaking talking dog.
Well, you know, it's an acquired taste. Just like, you know, chalet-style houses, and the modern contemporaries. I mean, there are those Victorian houses. And
Hair.
charm and gingerbread.
Hair, come down here. Come on.
We cut to a close-up of the doll's face having a conversation with his hair.
Yeah, yes. seem to be arguing. Yeah. No. Really? No. Yeah? All right, I see it. All right, you don't have to get physical. We come back!
I just need your help.
All right, my hair has convinced me.
I believe everything you're telling me.
My hair is very wise, and I often forget that, but we will help you sell this house. But it's going to cost you.
Oh. Money?
The camera cuts close up to her hand and the head, and we see one of the hairs jump off the head and start reaching towards her hand. Cut back.
Don't fight it. It's going to help you. It's going to help you. You feeling it? Are you feeling it? You should be feeling it by now. You got it. You see what I'm talking about? Yeah?
We cut to the Century 21 office the next morning. Joe, I have got to hand it to you. You know, I said 2 million tops, but you sold that place for 4. It's got to be something about you that did you get a new hairdo, or something with your makeup, or there's some style, something about you that just screams confidence.
I am currently the number 2 best-selling realtor at Century 21.
Don't forget who's top dog around here, Joe. I mean, I'm happy to help you out, but don't go coming for the throat.
We see that the rest of the office is abandoned. This is an after-hours meeting.
Hey, Joe, you know, I just, it's like I was saying, we've been doing this for a while together, and, you know, old friends, right? Remember when we got started together? And
There's a close-up on the desk, and right there is a letter opener, and it is gleaming and really, really obvious. Cut back.
See, you're admiring the letter. I got that for being top salesman in March.
We close in on the desk. We see next to where the letter opener was, there's also like a Bowie knife.
We also put in on that picture of the Crypt keeper, and he is now smiling.
That's another close-up of the desk, and right next to the Bowie knife, there's just a pistol. Cut back.
And then they gave me the Bowie knife.
And you cut back. Right next to the pistol, there's a long safe.
It's just a big flask with a skull and crossbones on it, full of purple dishwasher liquid.
Wait. There, we also see on the desk is a banana peel that looks really slippery if it were to fall on the floor. It's a trip hazard.
And a grenade! Cut back to the
Joe, it's just all the things they give you for being top salesman in the month already. You know, I got the site for September, and it was, you know, and then the banana was my lunch, but they gave me an extra 10 minutes. You know, you don't mess. That was poison. They gave me that for June. The Bowie knife. Yeah, that was. I remember that month. I sold an entire cul-de-sac, and and then the pistol. Yeah. So Joe.
Of the wound, the impact, as the blade just sinks into his ribcage, blood and guts just start pouring out, and a horrified look as he can't break eye contact with his assassin.
Blood starts pouring out of his face.
There's blood coming out of his eyes. It's gruesome. The top of his skull just spins right off, and his brains just pop out like a jack-in-the-box.
A little bit of blood gets on his Century 21 name.
Joe, the banana peel, why? All his teeth pop out like popcorn.
We watch as the hair just pops off the back of his head, and just lands on the body, consuming the body, leaving nothing but a Century 21's Holly-esque suit and a name tag.
This is his name tag.
We cut to the house during the day. It's the afternoon. Joanna walks into the room with a lovely-looking middle-aged couple. There's a man and a woman, or a man and a man, or a woman and a woman. Who cares? This is my perception. Stop it! Stop judging me! Stop it! Stop it! Okay, they walk in, all three of them.
On and if we could just pause for a moment and take a look at the banister.
Oh, sweetie, it's a dream.
It looks a little like a fixer-upper there. It's
There is so much potential in this property.
Well, honey, it'll be just like we're on the HGTV.
I don't know if we can afford that. I mean that's rotted out. There's obviously lead paint
We
everywhere.
cut to a close-up of this person, and we see that there's a messenger bag with just bills spilling out of the messenger bag. It's very full and very bulky. We cut back.
Honey, look, you're spilling our messenger bag that we keep all of our money in.
Honey, when great-uncle Hector left us this, he wanted us to spend it on a house and a family.
I just think that we have to make the right choice. I'm sorry, very sorry. We have to. We just.
Oh, because I have all the time in the world. I just want to find the right couple.
Yeah,
This family estate.
Does that come with the house, or is that your son?
This is a very rare antique doll that is from the 1920s.
You know I have this thing about
probably before
dolls.
Oh, Fish Posh, it's adorable.
It's got the blinky cute eyes and
Look at that cute little mama.
It looks so artificial and creepy, like it's looking at me, you
You don't
know?
watch Antiques Roadshow, do you?
Well, we love the Antiques Roadshow.
Can you imagine just the treasures to find in this house? Because the owner just left it all.
Just left.
Just left
What
it
happened to
all.
the owner?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Just then you hear the hare's stomach grumble.
Is there a dog here?
Honey, I love dogs. It's just
We're not gonna have a dog that came with the house, honey. Don't be stupid. Come on.
Oh, what if the poor thing needs an owner? Look, we want a family and a home.
Yes, we do.
We love this place. I have a giant bag of money. She has beautiful hair. What could be wrong?
It just doesn't feel right in my stomach, you know? Like, I don't know, that doll gives me the creeps, and she seems kind of like on a
We're
sleazy
getting
side.
a deal on this. The last two owners sold the house so quickly. It's like we're getting it at the right time.
The hare has to eat.
There's something like I like beets.
Oh, I love beets. It's just like
Do it. There's a lot of TV being played here. Look, I think we're gonna check out a different house for now. Just for now.
Well, can you at least just check the upstairs first? Just head on up.
Okay, we can check the upstairs.
It's a little steep.
Is there a light up here, or just?
Yes, it's at the top of the stairs.
All right,
I'll
I'll see
see
if-
behind you. Oh, hold on. It's a little tricky. Let me get that for you at the top of the stairs. You get behind me.
Oh, of course.
Behind me.
Of course.
I just don't want you to be at risk
She's
for
so
tripping and
helpful.
falling.
And
And
she
I'm
isn't
about to
sleazy
turn
after
the
all, I'm
lights on,
sorry.
but I'm pushing you down!
Hair?
Time to eat.
The hare eats all the bodies, leaving nothing but a pile of hipster clothing and a big bag of money.
just like on the Food Network.
Get the money.
Cut back to the real estate office. Well, Joe, I can't believe it. I mean, you've taken our #1 sales spot, you've sold that same house 3 times in 2 weeks. Well, that's incredible. I mean, at that point, hey, you should probably be sitting behind the big office, right? But hey, you know, there's only
Right?
one here. I'm sorry.
I didn't want to say anything, but
Oh,
I
no,
feel
no.
like I'm ready for my next step.
Oh, yeah, your next step. Oh, we're going to transfer you to the Peoria office. Your sales has been so great in this region, I get to go on the Bermuda trip. Bermuda's my favorite. But Peoria sales are so far down that we need to move you there. Because your Century 21 really cares about our clientele and our communities. We figure your skills are better there.
As he's talking, we cut to a close-up of Joanne. The side of her head, we see one of the hairs just kind of pop off, and there's a stream of blood that starts flowing out. We cut back.
Oh, hey, Joanne, you got a little something there. Did you get yourself plucked on the way in today? I go for a mani-pedi myself because you can't look too good when you're selling real estate. You know, if you go down to the infirmary, they might have something for that.
Oh, no, there's not really anything the infirmary can do for that.
Oh, I hope it's not cancer, is
We
it?
cut to a close-up of the hairs foot, and we see the hair kind of sneak up on it, and it just takes a little bite out of his foot. Cut back.
Oh, you know, I thought I told them to fumigate the office last weekend. You know, there's a bed bug infestation that some of our clientele bring in.
Those are
It's
very
terrible.
hard to
Terrible.
kill.
We don't even have any beds here. I keep telling them the bugs come in anyway.
Doesn't take much. No.
Listen, I have a big meeting coming up, so I have to prepare for that because, you know, again, Muta's coming up, and I have to get your travel arrangements for Peoria. So if you don't mind,
Well, actually, you know, I have the fumigators because you did say something. They're going to be coming into
you are
your
the absolute
office.
best.
We cut to a close-up of Joe and the manager. We can see on the back of Joe's head, we see a long strand of hair, not exactly leave, but pop down her shoulder and climb up the manager's shoulder, slowly creeping towards the back of his neck and reaching around the other side of his neck.
Another hair pops off and jumps onto his shoulder and starts crawling up and seems to about to enter his ear canal.
We cut back.
Hold on. There's something on your ear.
Oh, what's going on?
Oh! We zoom in on the manager as the piece of hair corkscrews into his ear as earwax comes flying out. He hasn't seen a Q-tip in at least 10 years.
You can see strands of hair starting to come out of his nose the long way, but they're not his hairs, and they're tendriling back up and into his eyeballs.
They pop out of his mouth and just start exploding out of his mouth.
Stuck in his teeth. Their hair is just like almost like tendrils popping out of his neck and wiggling.
One hair starts actually just flossing his teeth, which is just odd.
We can actually see his own hair start to turn gray and deteriorate right in front of our eyes.
The hair start pulling his teeth out one by one.
Petite!
No!
We cut back.
Gary, you really need to take care of yourself. Hair.
We cut to Mr. Rogers' old house. We see just Joe and the doll in the semi-dark room.
Sebastian.
How did it go?
Better than I had planned. I just want to do it again and again. I feel so much power.
Well, you're getting what you want, but what about our end of the deal?
You know, I don't even recall what you wanted. You just had a hair crawl onto me, and then I was possessed, and I was bored with it, and I just think you just keep going on.
I wanted a companion.
We cut to Joe and Sebastian on the cruise to Bermuda.
Oh, Sebastian, feel the breeze.
It's wonderful.
I'm so glad you could come with us.
Washy.
Get away.
Your champagne?
Oh,
Sebastian doesn't drink champagne.
Enjoy.
Sebastian,
I feel I can be me
so
here.
tall.
Oh. I feel myself becoming human.
As he says this, we see Joe's skin start to turn slightly brown and grooved, almost like wood.
Oh, don't worry about that. You just seem to have an allergic reaction to the sun is all.
We cut to a close-up of Joe's hand. She's holding her champagne glass. Suddenly we see her fingertips slowly start to turn wood color, and the champagne glass falls from her hand, and we cut to the glass as it shatters on the
Camera
floor.
pans up to her face. We can see that her eyelid is slowly becoming a button.
We cut back.
Oh, yep. What?
Sebastian.
Yeah.
We cut to a close-up of Sebastian's face.
And we see that his creepy eyes are becoming not creepy.
Cut back.
Don't fight it. It will be all okay.
We cut back to the original house. Joanne Doll is on the ground. There's a new Century 21 employee, and Sebastian is sitting at home.
Cut to the Crypt Keeper.
Well, that was a real doll of a tale, wasn't it? I guess you could say that real estate is a real dyer's market.
Although you've got to give him some credit, selling houses isn't exactly child's play.
How much would you be willing to pay to see this show? 12 doll hairs?
Well, kiddos, that's about all the time we have for this evening. So please join us next week for an all-new episode of Tales from the Crypt.